Hello and welcome to UNAFF Forum Presents, this time 19th United Nations Association Film Festival, which will be held from October 20th to October 30th in different places in the Bay Area. We are extremely happy that we are going to present again film and filmmakers from all over the world. Our 60 films and filmmakers are going to join us in San Francisco, Palo Alto, East Palo Alto, and Stanford University. The diversity of films that we are screening this year, from the situation in Syria to Japan, Hiroshima, to Europe and Dresden, they have something in common. They are actually going to be your compass for a better world. And this is our theme for this year. We're extremely happy to have two of our filmmakers who are joining us to give you a flavor of this film festival, United Nations Association Film Festival, for the 19th time in our community. We have in our studio George Csicsery and Harleen Singh, and they're going to tell us a little bit about their films, but also to intrigue you with the topics and the subjects they are presenting in this year's UNAFF. George Csicsery is presenting a beautiful film, Navajo Med Circles, and talking about the community that we don't see very often in our media. So, George, inspiration for this film is something that we don't see very often, particularly science and young Native Americans.
Yes, well, first of all, Jasmina, I'd like to thank you for allowing Navajo Math Circles to be screened as part of the UNAFF Film Festival. It's a great honor to be part of the festival. And it's my good luck that I made a film that fits right into your theme of Compass for a Better World, because the film is a composite of two cultures. It's a meeting of two cultures, Navajo Indian youth and mathematics. And mathematics in the sense of a research mathematics, of the beauty of mathematics, of the undiscovered mathematics, rather than the mathematics that most people suffer from in school. And what inspired the project was a story I heard from a mathematician, that there was a Russian woman from San Jose who was teaching or leading these math circles on the Navajo reservation. The math circles were an idea that came out of Eastern Europe of bringing really the best qualified mathematicians in contact with students, with children and high school students, and doing extracurricular work on math, and exploring the idea of discovering the mathematics rather than doing homework and doing schoolwork. And this has been very successful in many, many countries, and has been taking root in the United States for about 20 years, thanks to a couple of women, one from Bulgaria and Tatiana Shubin from San Jose. And bringing it to the Navajo reservation was a really, really important step, and because it allowed contact for children who have really been in some of the weakest schools in the country, in some of the poorest areas of the country, really underserved community, to meet the most important mathematicians in the United States. And that's a really wonderful thing. And so we set out to document it. That's really the inspiration. Now, when I heard about it, I met with Tatiana and proposed the film, and it was accepted by the Mathematical Sciences Research Institute as something they would partially fund, and also by Vision Maker Media, which is a Native American broadcasting consortium. They also saw it as something that was about the future, not about the suffering of the past, but something that would bring their people forward.
So let's see the clip from the film Navajo Med Circles.
The Native American community is severely underrepresented in the mathematical sciences and STEM in general. The diversity of ideas and people are coming from a very different place can bring new ideas into mathematics, and mathematics can help enrich the community.
The majority folks in this country have not viewed us as being part of the folks who contribute to the mathematical enterprise. That's certainly it. But you know, we also have not viewed ourselves as being part of the mathematical enterprise, and we're working on that problem. We can, in some sense, blame other people for excluding us, but it's also the case that, for whatever reason, we have not viewed this as something that we do.
We added 20 plus 12, which is the faces plus the vertices, because when you cut off, how you make it is you cut off the vertices of the icosahedron, n times n minus 1, and then that's 1,440. That's all.
I got interested in math when I was very young because I started liking new stuff about it.
This is a creature whose diagonals they are counting. How many diagonals can go inside of this thing? And this got a right answer. The answer is exactly right. 1,440 diagonals.
Bonding with other people, it's better to communicate with others so you can work out something easier.
I tell her, you're doing this for you. You're not going to do this for me. I've learned my lesson. But I would love for her to continue her education and whatever she wants to do.
I would want to live here, but at the same time, as I'm growing up, I have to go to college, which is like away from home, and then I have to get a job. There's like no jobs out here, so I probably have to go outside of the reservation to succeed in life. When I run, it just clears my thoughts. I'm free and everything. Like everything in the past that's bad, I forget about it. And I just keep running, and I just want to see what's ahead of me.
We just saw the clip from the Navajo Med Circles, which is going to be screened in the 19th United Nations Association Film Festival on Saturday, October 22nd, which is going to be part also of the UNAFF and Kids. It's a very special and very close to my heart and the heart of our audience, because this is the program for the kids between 7 and 12. We really would like to invite kids and the parents to come and see this beautiful film. So George, talking about also Navajo and particularly young Navajo, their secretive way of life is sometimes don't allow us to really see what's happening and then also connect with them. But you had the cameras, so bringing cameras and actually also inspiring these kids to talk. Tell us a little bit about the process.
Well, as many filmmakers have probably experienced, there is a myth about working with Native Americans, because Native Americans have been robbed by Hollywood so many times. And so they are cautious about allowing filming and opening up to outsiders. And I have to say that in this case, I experienced none of that caution. I experienced none of that fear. People were extremely open right from the beginning, and I came to believe that the golden key was mathematics, that it somehow opened a door that where people were sharing something in the mathematical world, and so it was just natural. It just seemed natural to share other things. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I could have had that same access, that same level of cooperation, if I had come in as an anthropologist or as somebody who was doing a story about conditions on the reservation. It really had something to do with the math, and I'm very grateful for that.
Mm-hmm. So another group that we don't know so much about because they're not so talkative about their culture, but they are present and we see them, and they are really around us, the Sikhs in the United States. And Harleen Singh, our filmmaker, made another beautiful film called Couple, and this is something that obviously working with the group and trying to find another compass you put together two interesting people. So tell us a little bit about the process and how did you find them?
Yeah, first of all, again, thank you so much for including my debut film in this wonderful, wonderful film festival. It's just an honor. I mean, I feel I already won an Oscar already.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
This film, The Odd Couple, is a story about two triathletes. And it's a story about friendship. It's a story about overcoming challenges. And there is a lot in there that is not spoken about, but yet you feel it. Because I think a lot of us, get a little bit of challenge or some problem and we think, oh my God, we're never going to overcome that. And when you see two people on screen where they are overcoming their challenges, and especially one who is an amputee by choice because he wanted to follow his dreams, it just takes you to a whole new level. And that's what we experienced while even just getting the story right of the film. And then while filming in post-production, we ourselves were very inspired. So how did we get to the story? It was just a dinner table conversation where we were like just talking about health and stuff like that, where Parveen just opened up about his story. And the more we got into his story and got to know Jeff through Parveen, we were like, wow, this is something that we should definitely put on screen. And hence we just made the film.
So let's see the clip from the film Odd Couple.
My wife has a term or a phrase for Parveen and I. She calls us the odd couple. I'm a big white guy, 6 feet tall. He's a short Indian guy, looks very different than me, yet we still go out and train together.
Decision to keep my hairs was definitely mine.
I made a choice to have my leg amputated.
I have my hair and beard to deal with at every event. It just creates extra time and has its own challenges.
I have to change prosthetics between every event, between swimming to bike, bike to run. Regardless of those challenges, I still made a choice to compete.
Despite some of our outward appearances, which people may see as limitations, we don't see them as limitations, but as inspirational choices of life.
There is a way to overcome just about anything. It's 70% mental, 30% physical.
We just saw the clip from the Odd Couple, which is going to be presented at our 19th United Nations Association Film Festival on Sunday, October 23rd. So, Harleen, talking about having them together and then working on those limitations or talking about that and having camera also, did you have any kind of problems or maybe just having said, oh, let's just switch the camera and then just talk a little bit about what we want to say and how long did you prepare your subjects to go with the story?
Wow. It didn't take long with Jeff because Jeff, for some reason, was very natural on television and camera. So when we started rolling, he was just on point and he answered the question like a pro, I would say. But that also stems from the fact that he is one of the 20 most inspirational triathletes of all times. And so, he knew what he was talking. He had a very inspirational way of talking, and so much so that, all our crew later went on to run marathons. So that was one aspect. But with Parveen, because it was his first time on camera talking about his own personal story, it was more like, we had to tell him that this is what you told us and what we want to share with the world. Because Sikhs as such in India were actually, a lot of athletes were Sikhs. For a long, long time, the whole hockey team, the people who were running and lots of other sports were dominated by Sikhs. But for the last few years, Sikhs per se have declined, or they have left the tenets of their religion just to follow a sport. So he was actually somebody who was standing up, and he said, you know what, I want to follow my dream, yet I don't want to give up on my religion. So his story was really passionate, and that's what we wanted to bring out. So when we used to have these sessions just before getting on camera, we used to just talk to him. And he used to really feel, yes, you know what, I have achieved it, but I want more people to achieve it. And that's what he brought to the screen. So yeah, it was just a lot of talking with the subjects.
So as we see, we do have from the first-time filmmakers to the long-time filmmakers being involved with the film business for more than 30 years. And also, we're extremely happy for the 19 years we presented in our film festival 30 films that were nominated for Academy Awards and 7 plus that won Academy Awards. So with all these films, they're always inspiration for our audience to go further, and particularly also to connect with the community organizations. So George, tell us a little bit about that, because as a filmmaker, you made a documentary, but there is no stop of actually engagement, because the next step is engaging also and having educational distribution and having this film be seen not only in the community with the Navajo, but also being seen in the all United States and also in the world. So tell us a little bit about the process as a filmmaker, what is the steps and how you use this film in educational tool.
Well, this film is really a wonderful example. Navajo Math Circles was first premiered before the largest mathematical convention in the country, the Joint Mathematics Meeting, in January 2016. That's a captive audience for a film with a mathematical theme. Probably about 800 of the 6,000 people at that conference showed up for the screening, and that immediately spreads word of mouth. And I think one important thing that lots of filmmakers neglect, they finish a film, they don't have the energy to continue. I think it's really important to have your promotional materials ready, your DVDs for sale ready, your website functioning for the film the minute you show it, the first time you show it. There are great films that I've seen at, for example, the Castro Theater in San Francisco, documentaries where they fill the house. You know, I don't know if they have 1,200 or 2,000 seat capacity there. They fill the house and they have not made a DVD. And you know, at a screening like that, if you fill the house with 1,200 people, you can sell 100 DVDs, and it allows you to continue the promotion and enter film festivals and look for screenings and engage a wider audience. Now, I think every filmmaker should really evaluate their film to see what that audience is going to be before they finish, and then really go and put that extra time into pursuing it. It's absolutely essential.
So that's actually excellent advice, evaluating your audience. So Harleen, did you do that part? I mean, did you actually just really try to present the film first in the communities with the Sikh population, or the people and the groups that can actually really appreciate the film, or you just went to the general screening?
No, we did go to Sikhs, and we went to small schools as well, because it's an inspirational story, and we wanted to touch a point, a chord with people, especially at an impressionable age, that there are people who are overcoming much bigger challenges than what we are seeing, and no better way than going to school and showing them that what you're doing is something good, but just you can overcome anything. So we did go to schools, we did go to lots of Khalsa schools, we went to all the gurdwaras. We were actually handpicked by the Parliament of World Religions as well. And so we showcased it at a community level, which was much bigger in scale, because we have a Sikh and a Jew person together in a film, both inspiring each other. So what better way to show it at the Parliament as well? So yes, there were different audiences that we catered to. And then, of course, the film festival brings in a much different audience as well.
And talking about educational distribution, and there are obviously several, we know we are working with several distributors like Bullfrog, which actually puts the film in the schools, and then the libraries in the schools, they can actually purchase the film. So have you, for your both films, because they are really appealing to the teachers, have you thought about that? I mean, have you checked the distribution with the educational point, or you're thinking to distribute the films by yourself?
I learned everything I know about distribution from a filmmaker named Les Blank.
Wonderful.
And Les Blank, who passed away 2 or 3 years ago, one of the great documentary filmmakers of the United States, he believed in self-distribution. What often happens is you get offers from a distributor and you take the offer. You might get a small amount of money, although that's extremely rare to get money out front now. And the distributor will put the film in the catalog, and that's the end of the story. If you are self-distributing, there's at least one person who cares about what happens to that film, and that's you. And you will go through the expense, but you will also reap the benefits of it. And the more you participate in that process, the more you learn about how to break into the educational system. The internet has been a big help in this. Anyone can distribute their own films to libraries, to schools. It just takes time and effort.
Right.
And you don't have to necessarily go with a distributor. Now the world is changing with streaming and the number of new companies there, but no one knows the value of that landscape at this point. It's online distribution is, you can have a lot of starving filmmakers with online distribution of documentaries, because the return isn't sufficient. And you need the libraries, you need the schools to show the films, and that is income that can support your next project or pay for the last one.
How about you, Harleen?
So we are self-distributing through Vimeo and Amazon, and we are open to any distributors out there who would like to take our film. But with the first film, there was such a big learning curve as to what to do and how to go about it. So we are putting all those learnings in our second project now.
So, and obviously there are community organizations who are passionate about your topics. Have you worked or talked with the community organizations who can support you?
Yes, we are in talks with a lot of community organizations. In fact, they have come forward, supported us on social media. And for our next project, because this one is already in film festivals, for the next project, they have lent a lot of support to us. So I think it takes a little while. He's a veteran. It's been 30 plus years. I just started. So it takes a little while to get to know the industry, the people over here. But you know, it's a learning curve, and I'm learning for sure to reach out to more people, connect with them, because these stories are very, very interesting and important, and truly inspirational, yours and mine, and there's so many others that will be featured in UNAFF. So I think there should be some sort of, you know, a coalition, I would say, of documentaries that can go out together and say, hey, you know, you should show these films in schools together. And I think UNAFF is doing a great job with that.
Thank you, Harleen, because this is exactly what we would like to invite also audience to join us for the 6 panels that we are going to have during our 11 days of the film festival. The panels are going to deal with the topics from obviously saving our children to the guns and the racism in colleges, and to the issues of ethics and health. We are extremely happy that this year we are presenting some of our films in the medical school at Stanford University, and we are going to have some doctors and professors also telling us how to deal with a particular disease and also how to deal with the ethics of medicine. Also, we are happy to have this year a presentation in our new museum at Stanford University, the Anderson Collection, and we have also some a great panel about arts and social change. So all these details about our film festival you can find online at unaff.org, but also if you stop by at the UNA store on Emerson Street in Palo Alto, you can get some of the brochures and find the posters, the T-shirt that I'm wearing, and obviously the totes and the banners. The banners is something which is kind of becoming a significant of our film festival. They're all on the University Avenue. When we finish with the film festival, we go with the environmentally sustainable process. We make from these banners bags. So that's another thing that you might find as a gift. But first of all, and the most important, is actually meeting our filmmakers. So I would like to invite all our audience to come and join us for our 19th United Nations Association Film Festival from October 20th to October 30th. And I would like to thank so much George and Harleen for being with us in the studio. Thank you, and we'll see you at the festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.